Imagine you could be the house in the world's most addictive casino, a place where new tokens are minted faster than you can refresh your feed, where millions of dollars in trading fees are raked in daily, and where the hype isn't just a byproduct, it is the actual product. That casino exists. It's called Believe, powered by Launchcoin. But this isn't some obscure fringe experiment. It's a launchpad that's taken the chaos of meme coins and weaponized it. In just a few weeks, Believe has become a financial phenomenon where anyone, anywhere can create a new token with a single tweet. No developers, no code, no gatekeepers, just one reply and your token is live, tradable, and ready for the feeding frenzy. Today, we're diving into what makes Launchcoin tick, why the fee numbers are melting faces, and what could actually sustain or derail this explosive trend. We'll break down the wild upside, the brutal risks, and how this stacks up to everything that came before. And as someone who's spent years building and investing in crowdfunding platforms like Paid Network and Commonwealth, I'll give you the inside view, what actually works, and what should have you hitting pause. Let's pull back the curtain. What is Launchcoin really? And why did every chart go vertical only to crash a few days later? It was like an entire meme coin supercycle played at 100x speed. So Kyle, why are we still talking about this? Well, guys, make sure to watch the whole thing because I actually did make a play here and I'll get into what I've done in just a bit. So guys, if you're excited to hear my take on Launchcoin, because I know many others have covered it before, but this is probably coming from a different angle. So do me a favor, destroy that like button. If you're new to the channel, what's up? My name is Kyle Chasse. I've been in crypto for 12 years, bringing you guys on this channel the most relevant market-breaking things, especially in geopolitics and macro markets as they pertain to crypto. Now, this one, if you guys are newer to the channel, is more in the style of what we used to do, covering hot altcoin trends. Let me know in the comments below if you like these kind of videos, or if you prefer that we stick with the more macro and geopolitical news as it pertains to crypto. So let's get into Launchcoin and how I'm playing this narrative. At its core, Launchcoin is the native token of the Believe app, and you can check it out on iOS and Android. It's very clean. A new breed of launchpads that rapidly became the third biggest meme coin launch venue on Solana, right behind Pump.Fun and Meteora. But what sets it apart is a single powerful innovation. Anyone, anywhere, can mint a new token simply by replying to a tweet. What could go wrong? All you do is reply at Launchcoin plus a name to an X post, and within minutes, your token is live, tradable, and plugged straight in to Solana's DeFi rails. This design absolutely obliterates the old barriers to token creation. The result? An avalanche of on-chain activity. In just a matter of weeks, over 21,500 tokens have launched via Believe, backed by more than 373,000 individual wallets and over $2.7 billion in trading volume. That platform isn't just a one-off meme. It's generated $16.7 million in cumulative fees, with single days where Launchcoin raked in nearly $600,000 and ranked among the world's top 10 fee-generating crypto protocols, leapfrogging past legacy brands like Axiom, Hyperliquid, and even PancakeSwap. If attention is the lifeblood of crypto, Launchcoin has mainlined it by the gallon. But the question you need to ask before you get caught up in the hype is whether this is real, organic growth, or just a short-lived speculative frenzy. Let's start with what could go right, because if Launchcoin lives up to what it's promising, the upside is more than big, it's paradigm shifting. First, there's a product market fit, not for utility, as we traditionally think of it anyway, but for pure speculation. By making token launches as easy as sending a tweet, Believe has essentially opened the floodgates, if you will, to a new class of user, for better or worse. The non-technical, the meme creator, the small community, or what they're talking about, even the SaaS developer who couldn't launch a coin before, or a small business who didn't know how to launch the coin before. The viral mechanic has led to jaw-dropping growth. On its most explosive day, more than 4,900 tokens were created, a tenfold spike over the week prior. The platform has clocked more than 21,000 tokens since launch in just a matter of weeks. It's not just quantity either. The fee engine is a powerhouse. Over a recent 7-day stretch, Launchcoin generated almost $15 million in fees, surpassing some of DeFi's most established names. That means Launchcoin does more than facilitate speculation. It's monetizing at scale. But here's where it gets even more interesting. You're not just betting on one project, you're betting on the casino itself. Launchcoin holders aren't exposed to the fate of any single meme or token being created there, but to the ongoing churn and feeding frenzy of the entire Launchpad. But the Believe app, created by the Launchcoin guys, they're not saying these are memes, but they are. And we'll get to that, why I'm calling them memes, later in the video. In crypto, where trends and narratives can change overnight, betting on the house has historically paid off. Think BNB during the Binance Smart Chain run, or how Pump Fund early backers did so well. And with this narrative, which is called Internet Capital Markets, in full swing, real businesses, this is what they're promising, and product teams are beginning to explore launching tokens with genuine revenue and user bases. This meta is often described as decentralized, accessible alternative to traditional equity markets, allowing anyone to invest in a project's potential by pushing tokens tied to its concept. It's gaining traction as a new way to fund and speculate on early-stage projects, bypassing traditional financial gatekeepers like banks or venture capital firms. The current valuations, well, they're still tiny, like hundreds of thousands to $5 million of fully diluted market cap, which compared to the billions traditional markets would assign to similar user traction, looks like an open field for explosive repricing if the model matures. And that's a big if. The team isn't standing still either. Believe is rolling out an API to let Web 2 products and companies connect directly to launch tokens, aiming to silence critics who say there's no real utility behind the platform. As the founder, Ben Pasternak himself put it, if they execute this right, it could be a game changer for every project on Believe. The vision is to move from pure speculation to real product integrations, a feat that, if realized, would separate the platform from every meme launchpad that's come before, adding utility to these very speculative tokens. And here's the kicker. The real fundamental in crypto is attention, at least around speculation and bull markets. Fee charts, Twitter trends, and explosive Dune stats all point to a narrative still gaining steam. In a market that lives and dies on narratives and liquidity, Launchcoin is at the center of both. But now, let's get real. For every winner in a mania like this, there are 100 cautionary tales, and Launchcoin has no shortage of risks. The first and loudest red flag is a lack of investor protection. Unlike ICOs, which at least attempted due diligence and published terms, or even the later IDO era, where deals often came with audits and whitelists, Launchcoin offers no contractual protection. This has serious drawbacks to more recent launch models like the LCO, or low FTV community offering on Paid Network, which offers lower valuations than all the VCs and aligns long-term incentives of Launchpad investors with tier 1 projects and VCs. There are no binding agreements, no audits by top tier firms to make sure the code is legit, and no recourse if a team rug pulls. The entire system is permissionless. On one hand, I really respect that. On the other hand, as a Launchpad founder, I think permissioned is the only way to protect your investors. But a free market is a free market. And let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about permissionless versus permissioned launchpads. On the Believe app, anyone can launch, anyone can get dumped on. Even the platform admits that most tokens have no utility and token purchases are little more than just donations. The fee engine that makes the bull case so compelling is deeply extractive. Many users and creators have complained that despite the promise of a 50% revenue split, in practice, fees are often locked up in the liquidity pool in the DEX, or they're paid out only in SOL, with the token portion undelivered and subjects to wild price swings. Worse, creators can't even control when fees are claimed. So a poorly timed sell can mean the reward is nearly worthless. This isn't just bad for users, it's also bad for the platform, since Launchcoin only profits when users do. The result? Out of thousands of tokens launched on a single day, only about 10 survive past 24 hours. The vast majority dead on arrival, and the system forces users to constantly flip from one coin to the next, maximizing revenue for the platform, but leaving retail with little to show in most cases. There are also real questions about how sustainable this model is. The same mechanism that's driving massive fee revenue is built on a speculative feedback loop, one that historically collapses as soon as trader interest wanes or another shiny launchpad emerges. And then there's regulation. The platform calls tokens digital merch, not equity, but that's not likely to protect it from securities scrutiny if enough retail money is lost. Regulatory clarity is still a black box, but as we've seen before, when the law catches up, the fallout can be severe. If an actual company tries to use this for real business and share revenue, then it certainly could be considered a security. It actually would definitely be considered a security. And this would bring unnecessary legal attention to a company that was already doing well, or a startup that would be off to a difficult legal battle in its very early days. So why bring on the added risk for any legitimate company in the Web2 world doing legitimate business? Let's put Launchcoin in historical context. The ICO boom of 2017 may have been the Wild West, but at least there were public teams, published white papers, and sometimes there was even legal recourse. The IDO era, for all its successes in 2021, pushed more automation, whitelisting, and smart contract locks to safeguard participants. Launchcoin and Believe, by contrast, are pure permissionless chaos. Anyone can launch. Anyone can trade. There are no protections, no due diligence, and most crucially, no on-chain enforcement of promises. The open access is intoxicating to a lot, but it comes at a cost. Maximum speed, zero safety net, etc. And I'll be the first to admit, we learned a lot building paid network in the 2021 bull run. One of the biggest takeaways, our bar for due diligence was too low. This Believe app is 0. Even though we're currently ranked number 2 globally for ROI across all launchpads, let that sink in for a second. I'm saying our bar was too low, yet we're number 2 in the entire world. What I've learned as a founder is that the real goal isn't to only just try to back moonshots, although that is a big goal. It's to minimize how many projects go to 0, because in early stage investing, even the best VCs in the world miss 90% of their bets. That's just how the game works. But when there's no filter, no curation, no structure, no floor, the math really starts to break down on that investor/VC model, which if you're investing in early stage, that's what you are. When anyone can launch anything, the mechanics of venture investing no longer apply. In the traditional model, you can survive missing 9 out of 10 because that one big win pays for the rest. You do 100 launches, maybe 1 or 2 are absolute knock it out of the park home runs. 5 to 10 do okay, and the rest go to 0. That's the cost of being early. But what happens when you remove even that structure and flood the market with 20,000 tokens a week? You don't just lose capital, you lose signal. you get lost in the massive sea of flooding, and those mechanics, those numbers that I just said, they start to break down, and it's no longer a viable investor structure. Launchpads like Paid work better over time because every deal is vetted, legally structured, and filtered for quality. Not everyone gets through the door, and that's exactly the point. In crypto, the most valuable asset isn't technology, revenue, or even user growth. It's these things plus attention. It's so critical. The projects that thrive aren't always the ones with the best fundamentals. Ivan on Tech would call them pumpamentals and fundamentals. These mechanics are very true when it comes to attention and price growth in a bull market. And right now, for better or worse, Launchcoin has the market's attention locked in. It's more than a launchpad. It's a stage where thousands of tokens are launched in a blur of speculation. But it's more than just a numbers game. It's a narrative game. Launchcoin has tapped into the internet capital markets story. The idea that anyone can launch a token as easily as posting a tweet. That story has power, and it's why Launchcoin has become a phenomenon. But attention is a double-edged sword. It can drive massive growth, but it can also vanish in an instant. As quickly as traders pile in, they pile out, chasing the next trend or the next shiny launchpad. When the spotlight shifts, so does the liquidity, the fee revenue, and the hype is gone. So the real question isn't just, is Launchcoin a successful launchpad? It's, can it keep the spotlight? Because in crypto, once the attention goes, everything else follows. So what could signal Launchcoin's next move? Well, here's the part where I'm going to tell you what I'm watching. On the bullish side, if fee growth remains strong, if real businesses start to adopt the API for genuine product launches, and if payout mechanics are made transparent and automated, Launchcoin could solidify its place as the house in this new narrative of internet capital markets, which is a casino. If they're more credible founders and they make integrations with real-world businesses, and continued narrative dominance would make the bull case undeniable. The Launchcoin token has no value accrual or utility in its current form. Yeah. The bullish case assumes the token continues to be a proxy for the success of the Believe app, and that the market will price in the future value accrual before it happens. But on the flip side, if daily token launches crater, if creator and user complaints about fees and payouts persist, or if regulators begin to circle, the entire narrative could collapse just as quickly as it took off. Remember, in this game, trends last only as long as the money and the attention do. A platform built on momentum can lose it just as fast. Ultimately, the fate of Launchcoin isn't just about tech or tokenomics. It's about trust, protection, and the story the markets want to believe. If the ICM wave is for real, this could be a historic play. If not, it will be remembered as the fastest boom bust cycle in Solana history. If there's one thing I've learned after building, backing, and surviving cycles in this industry, it's this. The best opportunities look easy until they aren't. Launchcoin is either the next generation of on-chain fundraising, or it's the latest casino rug with better branding. So before you ape in, ask yourself, am I betting on the casino or just another sucker at the table? And what am I really getting in return? You're probably wondering how I am personally playing this. I wouldn't invest in any of the tokens on the Believe app, at least currently not now. But I'm open to being proven wrong, or just at least open-minded. And if it doesn't seem like any of them are gaining any traction, well, then I'm just better off staying on the side. So to me, it makes it seem like this app and the coin won't make it. But it really only takes one big success to bring the attention back to the project. So what did I do? I was aware of the project about a week ago. In fact, it was called in our Discord early at like $60 million. And right now the Discord's only open to friends and family. But if you guys sign up on the mailing list below, the Substack, we will keep you guys informed of when we open it up to more people. And it did a 5x from there. So pretty good early calls. But I waited. But it felt like a meme to me. So I did the meme game plan, which we talked about on the channel before. I waited for the correction. So when it came from 360 million all the way down to 180 million market cap, down 50%, I bought a small amount in the token Launchcoin because it's an asymmetric bet. Perhaps this team is full of cracked devs they've got a beautiful app, and maybe they do something amazing. Maybe they actually pull off the goal and attract some really big partners. In that case, I'm placing a small bet, about 0.1% of my portfolio on this house of this casino, because it could end up being the virtuals of this new narrative called internet capital markets. Why such a small bet? Because I've been building this narrative ICM platform for 4.5 years, and we're also doing Commonwealth. And I've spent a lot of time thinking deeply about how internet capital markets should work in a sustainable way, where real value accrual happens in the token and it sticks around for a long time, where people don't just speculate, they invest in projects with orders of magnitude more potential to succeed. Drop your thoughts in the comments, guys. Let me know, am I wrong? Am I right? Are you bullish, bearish, or just confused? I hear ya. Do me a favor again, destroy that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, guys. Make sure you be bold, you stack your sats, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.